My daily routine. The alarm goes off at 6:30 every morning. It is not a gentle sound. It is a sharp, insistent beeping that cuts right through whatever dream I was having and drags me back into the real world whether I want to come or not. I reach out from under the warm blanket and slap the top of my phone. The beeping stops. For a moment, everything is quiet and still. The room is dark except for a thin strip of pale light coming in under the curtains. I lie there for exactly 1 minute. I know it is 1 minute because I count. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 60. This is my deal with myself. I am allowed 1 minute of lying still and doing absolutely nothing. But when I get to 60, I have to get up. No excuses. No 5 more minutes. Just up. 60. I sit up. The cold air hits my face and arms, and I take a sharp breath. Good morning, world. I say this out loud sometimes. Not because anyone is listening, just because saying it out loud makes it feel more like a decision than an accident. I chose to get up. I chose to say good morning. The day is already mine. The bathroom floor is cold. It is always cold in the morning, no matter what season it is. I have slippers, but I never remember to wear them. I stand at the sink and look at myself in the mirror. I look exactly like someone who was just asleep. Hair going in 3 different directions. Eyes still half closed. A crease on my cheek from the pillow. Good morning to you too, I tell my reflection. I turn on the tap and splash cold water on my face. This is the moment I actually wake up. Not the alarm. Not the counting. This cold water on my face, that is the real beginning of the day. I brush my teeth for 2 full minutes. I know it is 2 minutes because there is a small timer on the shelf. My dentist gave it to me 3 years ago and told me most people only brush for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is not enough, she said. 2 minutes is what your teeth deserve. I have never forgotten that. 2 minutes every morning and 2 minutes every night. What your teeth deserve. I wash my face properly with a gentle cleanser and warm water. I pat it dry with a soft towel. I put on moisturizer because the air is dry in winter and the sun is strong in summer, and either way my face needs a little help. By the time I leave the bathroom, I look like a person. A sleepy person, but a person nonetheless. The kitchen in the morning has its own particular feeling. Everything is quiet. The city outside is just beginning to wake up and the sounds are still far away and soft. I fill the kettle and put it on. The sound of water beginning to heat is one of my favorite sounds in the world. It is a small, contented sound. A sound that means something warm is coming. While the water heats, I open the refrigerator and stand there for a moment looking at what is inside. I do this every single morning, even though I know exactly what is in there. Eggs on the second shelf. Milk in the door. Some leftover rice from last night. Half an onion wrapped in plastic. I close the refrigerator. Eggs it is. I crack 2 eggs into a small bowl and whisk them with a fork. A little salt. A little pepper. I put a small pat of butter in the pan and watch it melt. There is something meditative about cooking eggs in the morning. It does not require thought. It only requires attention. Watch the butter. Pour in the eggs. Move them slowly with the spatula. Do not rush. Good scrambled eggs cannot be rushed. The kettle begins to whistle. I pour hot water over the coffee grounds in my small pour-over dripper. The smell of coffee in the morning is one of those smells that feels like a promise. A promise that the day will be all right, that things will get sorted, that there will be enough energy for whatever comes. I sit down at the small kitchen table with my scrambled eggs and my coffee. I do not look at my phone. This is a rule I made for myself 2 years ago. No phone during breakfast. Just the food and the coffee and the quiet morning light coming through the window. 15 minutes of just eating. It sounds like a small thing, but it is one of the best parts of my day. I am not someone who takes a long time to get dressed. I have never been that kind of person. My system is simple. The night before, I think about what I need to do the next day. Meeting with people, I wear something neat and presentable. Working alone at home, comfort is the priority. Going out for errands, something in between. I pick out what I am going to wear before I go to sleep. I lay it over the chair in the corner. In the morning, I do not have to think about it. I just put it on. This saves me from standing in front of my wardrobe for 10 minutes at 7 a.m. in the morning feeling vaguely stressed about shirts. Morning me is not equipped to make important decisions. Night me handles all of that. Today I am going to the office. So last night I laid out my navy trousers, a white shirt, and a light gray jacket. Simple and clean. I get dressed and look in the mirror. I look like someone who has their life together. This is slightly misleading, but appearances matter. Before I leave, I do my checklist. Phone, keys, wallet. I say these 3 things out loud while patting the relevant pockets. Phone in the left jacket pocket. Keys in the right trouser pocket. Wallet in the back pocket. Good. I am ready. I lock the door behind me and step out into the morning. The air outside is always a surprise. No matter how well I think I know the weather from looking out the window, actually stepping outside is always slightly different from what I expected. Today it is cool and clean with a slight breeze. Better than expected. The street is busy with the morning flow of people. Everyone moving with purpose. Everyone going somewhere. I join the flow. I walk to the subway station, which is about 7 minutes from my front door. 7 minutes of walking in the morning air. I have learned to enjoy this walk. I do not listen to anything. No music, no podcast. Just the sounds of the street, the buses, the conversations, the shopkeepers rolling up their metal shutters, the smell of bread from the bakery on the corner. This is my city, and every morning I walk through it and feel the small, quiet satisfaction of being part of it. The subway in the morning is its own world. I tap my card at the gate and go down the escalator. The air underground is different from the air outside. It is warmer and slightly stale. It smells of metal and concrete and hundreds of people passing through. The train arrives in less than 2 minutes. The doors slide open and the people inside flow out as the people on the platform flow in. I find a spot near the door and hold the overhead bar. I look around at the other passengers. There is a woman in her 40s reading a thick novel, completely absorbed, the world outside her book not existing for her. There is a young man in school uniform with his eyes closed, earphones in, head nodding very slightly to whatever he is listening to. There is an elderly gentleman in a dark suit holding a briefcase on his lap with both hands, looking straight ahead at nothing. There is a young mother with a baby strapped to her chest, the baby wide awake and looking around at everything with huge bright eyes, discovering the world. Everyone is going somewhere. Everyone has a life full of things I know nothing about. I sometimes think about this on the subway, about how many stories are packed into one train car. The train moves. The stations pass. People get on and people get off. My stop comes after 12 minutes. I step off and go up the escalator back into the daylight. The office building is a 5-minute walk from the subway exit. I know every crack in the pavement between here and there. There is a small flower stall at the corner run by a man in his 60s who is always there before I am, always arranging his buckets of flowers with careful attention. We nod at each other every morning. We have never spoken. But the nod feels like an acknowledgement. We are both here. We are both at work. Good morning. I push through the glass doors of the building and take the elevator to the 4th floor. The office is already half full when I arrive. Some people come in even earlier than me. I have always found this slightly mysterious. I put my bag down at my desk and sit down. I take a moment before I open my computer. Just one moment of stillness before the day properly begins. I look at my desk. The small plant in the corner that I water every Monday. The photograph of my family at the beach from last summer. The notepad where I write my daily list. These small things that make this desk mine. I open my computer. The day begins. By 11 in the morning, I am deep in the work. Emails answered, calls made, documents read and edited and sent back. Time moves differently when you are focused. Sometimes I look up and an hour has passed without my noticing. At 12:30, I stop for lunch. This is important. Lunch is not something I skip or eat at my desk. Lunch is a real break. I go outside. There is a small restaurant 2 blocks away that I go to 3 or 4 times a week. The owner knows my usual order. On the days I want something different, I just say something different today, please, and she nods and brings me something. I eat slowly. I watch the street outside the window. I let my brain rest from the morning. This 1 hour of rest in the middle of the day makes the afternoon better. A rested brain works better than a tired one. This is not a complicated discovery, but it took me years to act on it. After lunch, I walk back to the office slowly. The afternoon sun is warm on my face. I look up at the sky. Blue and clear today. A good sign. The afternoon passes in much the same way as the morning. Work, focus, the quiet satisfaction of getting things done. At 5:30, I close my computer. I tidy my desk. I put the things that are out of place back where they belong. I water the small plant on Mondays only, but I check on it every day. It seems to be doing well. I put on my jacket and pick up my bag and say goodbye to the colleagues who are still there. The evening subway is more crowded than the morning one. Everyone heading home at the same time. The energy is different from the morning. The relief is almost visible. I ride the 12 minutes home. I walk the 7 minutes from the station to my front door. I unlock the door and step inside. Home. There is no word quite like it. I change out of my work clothes immediately. This is one of the great pleasures of the day. Off with the neat work clothes and on with the soft, comfortable home clothes. The transformation is instant. Work person becomes home person. I make dinner. Sometimes it is something simple, rice and vegetables and whatever protein I have in the refrigerator. Sometimes it is something more involved that takes half an hour and makes the whole apartment smell wonderful. Tonight I am making soup. I chop the vegetables slowly and thoughtfully. Cooking in the evening is different from cooking in the morning. In the morning it is practical. In the evening it is pleasurable. The soup simmers on the stove and fills the kitchen with a warm, savory smell. I sit at the kitchen table with my bowl of soup and now I do look at my phone. I read the news. I message a friend. I look at a few photographs someone posted that make me smile. After dinner, I wash the dishes. I do not leave them for tomorrow. There is nothing worse than coming into the kitchen in the morning and finding last night's dishes still waiting. So they get washed now and put away and the kitchen is clean for the morning. After the dishes, I have a couple of hours before I go to sleep. These hours are mine completely. No obligations. No tasks. Just whatever I want to do. Sometimes I read. I always have a book on the go and the evening is the best time for it. An hour of reading a good book is one of the finest ways to spend an evening that I know. Sometimes I watch something on television. A documentary, a drama, a film I have been meaning to watch for months. Sometimes I call my mother. We talk for half an hour or an hour about nothing in particular. How was your day? What did you eat? Did you hear about what happened? The content of the conversation is never very important. What is important is the sound of her voice, the reassurance of it. Sometimes I take a short walk around the block after dark. The city at night is quieter and softer than the city in the day. The streetlights make pools of warm yellow on the pavement. The shops are closed or closing. The restaurants are warm and bright inside. I walk slowly and think about nothing in particular, or about everything. The evening air clears my head. At around 10 o'clock, I start getting ready for bed. I wash my face again. I brush my teeth for 2 full minutes. 2 minutes again. What your teeth deserve. I check tomorrow's weather on my phone. I look at my schedule for the next day. I pick out what I am going to wear. I lay it over the chair in the corner. Morning me will be grateful. I turn off all the lights except the small lamp beside my bed. I get into bed. The sheets are cool and clean. The pillow is soft. I read for a little while. Usually 20 or 30 minutes. Reading before sleep is the best way I know to leave the day behind and cross gently into the night. The words on the page replace the thoughts in my head. Slowly the sentences begin to blur. I put the book down. I turn off the lamp. The room is dark. Outside I can hear the distant sound of the city still moving, still breathing. Tomorrow the alarm will go off at 6:30. Tomorrow I will count to 60. Tomorrow I will splash cold water on my face and say good morning to my reflection. Tomorrow the eggs will cook and the coffee will smell like a promise. But that is tomorrow. Right now there is only the quiet dark. And sleep. And the end of a good ordinary day. Thank you for listening to Miracle English. Keep learning, keep growing, and enjoy every ordinary day.